Green Bean comes in and says, or we hope that, so talking about like
Yep.
the impact that Haason Reddick's going to have, or we hope Reddick is still the same, is Bryce Huff right now. His Philly friends, Green Bean's Philly friends, think that he's on the downturn. So I have one friend that's a very diehard Philadelphia Eagle fan, and I do like his opinion on his team, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense. And he told me, he's like, you got a dog. Like, this guy absolutely is a freak, but he wants to get paid. And like, there was some little bit of, angst maybe towards the end of the season where they thought maybe he wasn't necessarily a great locker room guy. Now, remember, they switched the defense around that final stretch of games, and Reddick didn't have any sacks during that. So that could be, the reason why the change to, who took over for play calling? It was someone wacky. Was it Belichick's kid? Is that who it was?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to think who it was.
Well enough, but the play calling did change.
It did switch, whoever it was, because now Fangio's down there. But I guess your thoughts on Reddick. He's on a 1-year, $15 million contract right now. We had heard some conflicting reports of they're possibly negotiating a contract with him. I think there's a high likelihood they want to keep him on a 1-year deal. So what are your thoughts on the contractual side of Haason Reddick?
Chat is saying that it was Matt Patricia that was calling the plays.
Matt Patricia, there it is. The other Belichick crony. Yep. My bad.
I will say this. I'll say this regarding Reddick being on the downturn. Philadelphia's defense last year was not as good as the year before. The year before, Haason Reddick had was it 18 sacks in 2022?
It was a lot. Yeah, I think it might have been 20, because if you count through the playoffs, I think it was like 20 sacks. 21 sacks.
It's 21 if you include the playoffs, but in the regular season, I believe it's 18.
I think that's right.
That defense was the number one defense in the NFL at that time. Philly was number 1, San Francisco was number 2, the Jets were number 3, if I remember it correctly. And so, but Philly's
16 is
defense,
what Rusty Spooner's saying. Sorry. 16 sacks.
Whatever it is, he had a bunch of sacks. He had a ton of production. This year, that number is still relatively high. I believe he has 10 or 11 sacks this year. And according to PFF, he has 13, but they're going off of who they attribute sacks to, not who claims the sack, because I don't know if people know this, but in the NFL, you actually have to claim your sacks at the end of the game. So there's it's a whole thing. Yeah,
really?
you have to claim your stats.
Claiming everyone. Sorry, JJ, that's my sack now.
It causes, I've heard stories about this, about how it causes friction in the locker room.
How is that possibly a thing?
Because some people will be on
That's
incentives
stupid.
And stuff. Dude,
that's dumb as shit. I'm sorry. I'm going to claim every touchdown as, Aaron Rodgers for last year. And he's just going to have it just because I claim
you
it.
have to be involved in it. But if it's
That's still stupid.
If it's 3 players on a sack, you can't give a half sack to 3 players. Only 2 players are going to get a half sack. Or 1 player is going to get a sack. Again, it's a whole different thing. But that's besides the point. He's coming to a much better defense in New York. We are a much better defense. We have the best cornerback trio in the NFL. We've got arguably the best linebacker duo in the NFL. And this is the best, most stacked defensive line. Maybe not top heavy, because we don't have Bosa or Watt or Garrett, but we've got a murderer's row of players on the defensive line. So again, I think his production will go back to what the 2022 year looked like, because our defense is closer to Philadelphia's 2022 defense than it is to 2023's defense. And when it comes to signing him, extending him, or any of those things, man, I kind of just don't care. I'm not invested in whether we sign him, whether we let him go. I don't care. And the reason for that is, okay, let's say it's a 1-year rental. I'm cool with it. It's a 3rd-round pick in 2026. If he leaves and he signs an extension with another team, well, we get a compensatory 3rd-round pick in 2026 for him anyway. So we got a rental player for free. Dope. If not, and we say, okay, cool, we're going to give him that big money contract, which again, I'm probably 60-40 on, we should probably just keep him as a 1-year rental versus extending him. But if we do extend him, okay, why am I going to have a problem of keeping a 4 back-to-back years of double-digit sack production, can play the run, is a pass rushing specialist, fits kind of a body mold of what we want Will McDonald to turn into. So that's like a great mentor there, all of those things. So I'm not pro or anti signing him or whatever. I don't really care, but I will say this. My belief is that if Haason Reddick gets big money with the New York Jets, that spells the end of JFM's time as a New York Jet. We have him for one more year and he gets cut next year, because I just don't know how you're going to. You can't have that much money invested into an edge position where you have 2 first-round picks vying for playtime.
What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary from Talkin' Jets. If you liked that video, please make sure to subscribe and follow for more New York Jets content.